So, hi everyone, and welcome to What to Read today. Today, we are delving into the medical world, which did not start out to be the medical world. It started out to be just a very boy or girl in this instance. Girl meets boy, girl falls in love, life is going well, and then boom, there is a medical issue. And the book for today on what to read is this book, Broken Girl. Broken Girl is written by Bradley Trevor Grieve and Caroline Lena Breure. It's the story of Caroline, her real story. Caroline, we get to meet in the book, is Brazilian, or at least originally from Brazil, and moved to Australia in what seemed to be a very courageous young lady moving to a new world, a new country, and then life is going well. She finds a job, she finds a man, and she falls in love. She goes into the social scene in Sydney. She's bustling, like everything is going well. In fact, in reading this book, the first thing that came to mind is people seem to be having a fabulous life, like really great life, because this book paints a picture of a young woman who, what else can she ask for? Has a job, her relationship is going well, she's loved by friends, she seems to be attending concerts and parties and being invited out to these fabulous places around the world. You know, went to South Africa, traveled to Europe, everywhere you can think of. And then in one of these trips to Spain, her boyfriend and her, just as she steps out into the street or the road, she gets hit by a car. And not just any car, she gets hit by a police vehicle. The irony of it, she gets hit by a police vehicle, and in that instant, her brain, her skull is damaged, and fluids and all types of forms of body parts are everywhere on the streets of Barcelona. This book is the story of how a once bright, vibrant, intelligent, loving, lady who had all of these things going for her went from being that to becoming a medical situation where I was almost going to use the word catastrophe because this happened during COVID. And if you recall, borders were beginning to shut down. So she had this accident in 2019, 2020. Borders are beginning to shut down. So it was a terrible nightmare having to even fight for for access to medical care in Spain. And then Spain at some point, her visa is expiring. Her 3 months type of visa is expiring, and she had to seek for an extension to remain in the country. She's critical. She can't fly. And then there was all of this back and forth with the Spanish government. No, you have to leave. No, you can't stay. But I can't leave. I'm medically unfit to fly. And then the visa is extended. And then there is issue. She has to leave the country. Australia has shut down, and Australia did shut down. So she couldn't go back to Australia, where she has become a permanent resident. And then she had to go back home to Brazil. She had the love and support of her mother, her boyfriend. All was going well, except for her medical situation, until she returned to Australia. And then all the perfection, the life, her boyfriend, her friends seemed to go downward hill, like no one wanted to hang out. So this story, Broken Girl, I tell you what, initially when I had started to read, I was a little bit just with the way it's written in a poetry type of style, shorthand, not full, complete lines of words, just very shorthand form, and I didn't really like it. But I thought this is a very interesting story, and I persevered. I'm glad I did. It was very interesting. I know I tend to say this quite often. It's very interesting. But any book you see me present here, again, I haven't been paid to do this, is a book I read, I really enjoyed, and I think other people will enjoy reading it. It's not a book I read and did not like, and then I'm talking about it. Once I have it on this channel, please be sure it is a good read. I recommend you read it. So she returns back to Australia, still not 100% okay. Of course, she's got a fractured skull, her speech is delayed. She is not easily, people cannot easily comprehend what she's saying. And then she finds out there's drama with her boyfriend, who, remember, at the point of the accident was with her and saw all of this happen and has been by her side. But long story short, the relationship did not go anywhere after that. They remained friends and he did help out. Her friends practically abandoned her. And then at the end, we get to find out friends she thought were friends basically plotted her downfall. Basically, it was a shocker reading to the end and finding out all of this. What I mean, all of this, I'm talking about getting troll messages and people trying to undermine her relationship with her boyfriend at the time, and people saying mean things to her online was orchestrated by a friend. When I got to that bit, or at least the end of the book, I kept asking, but why? To what purpose? To what gain? I would never find out from this book why that particular friend did what she did. I do understand why a few other friends deserted her because, we liked this version of you that was fun, was full, was whole. But this new version of you where you are falling down on the street, you're tripping, you're not coordinated after the injury, you're not, all the social cues, how to speak, how to behave, seem to have just dissipated from your mouth. I do understand why they may not want to continue the friendship. What I do not understand is why a particular friend will go out of their way to undermine this friend and try to end the relationship. So I'd read a little bit of the blurb behind. Caroline was on holiday in Spain with her boyfriend when her skull was crushed. Physically broken and no longer able to trust her own mind, she painstakingly searched for clues to explain the cruel disparity between her past and present. This is the story of how Caroline solved her own mystery and reclaimed her life. I recommend this book for anyone who wants to delve into the medical field. The author goes quite in depth to explain some of the processes that were undertaken to get her to rehabilitate her to where she needed to be. So you will find bits of that if that interests you. However, this is what you will find, which I found very interesting, is about courage. believing in oneself to say, I can get better, I will get better. But it then presents the other side of humanity. You can't trust everything you see or people around you. You need to have the clarity to consider if this is a friend or a foe. This advice I'm receiving, is it coming from a place of friendship, of love, or is there more to it? Honestly, I was shocked by that friend because this friend stayed all through till the end. And then it gets revealed this friend was not a friend. I enjoyed reading this book. I think you will enjoy reading the book. But let me know what you think about the book. More importantly, there is a mystery. Why do you think the friend acted the way this she did? If you can solve it, why? Why, why would someone behave that way? If you don't know why, please let's have your comments in the comment section. It would help me sleep better at night because I don't understand why. So that's what we've got for today. You keep well, as per usual, and keep reading. And until I see you next time, you take care and bye.